I do believe there could be hunger on campus. University is a very expensive endeavor for students, and I would believe that there would be students who wouldn't have the money to put towards food as well.
I think there is hunger on campus. I've experienced it a few times myself. Where do they get food? I think a lot of the times people just they just push through it. I mean, they're hungry, they just wait till they can get home.
I really couldn't answer that. I don't know. I work at the hospitality. I really don't know, but like I said, there's posters all over the university coming to the washrooms and that. You see posters there saying stress line call, need line call. There's a lot of support systems, so I don't think there's anybody hungry. I think there's a place where they can call and get help.
Yeah, I do think there are hungry people. I don't think it's an obvious problem, but I'm sure there are.
I do think there's hunger on campus. Like I see a lot of people sleeping over in the UC on the couches and things like that, and clearly have nowhere to go.
I think a lot of students are on OSAP, and they can only afford so many things, and their money gets tied up in other stuff, like paying for books, which are very expensive, paying for tuition, which is also quite pricey, and maybe sometimes they end up spending a little too much money at the beginning of the semester, and then they don't have any left towards the ending.
I think most of the hunger stems from a lack of financial funds due to the high tuition prices at school and all the other costs we have to endure. So I think that's basically it. I think it just comes down to economic reasons.
I think that there are a lot of hungry students on campus because tuition fees are really high, and a lot of the money that they earn while working goes to tuition and housing. And it doesn't help that all of the food on campus, like at the UC or Creelman's, is highly expensive, especially if you don't have a meal card, just like in first year. So a lot of the time, people just have to snack on like carrots the whole day, and they're still really hungry because that doesn't really fulfill your needs.
I think a lot of it comes from, yes, our tuition fees are expensive. Yes, living costs can be expensive. And when you put them all together, there are a lot of students who want to get an education, and it's hard for them to put enough money together to pay for school, living, and their food. And when there are opportunities such as the food bank, then it really helps to alleviate some of that stress.
I think one of the big problems is not necessarily with the food bank, but it's with kind of this culture of shame that exists on campus and exists in sort of like our larger culture, where we should be ashamed of being poor, or we should be ashamed of needing help, when that's not the case. I mean, really, especially for students these days, and we all come to school and have intersecting identities that contribute and kind of change or what the likelihood of us being able to afford good food is. So other marginalizing factors, as well as being a student, affect our socioeconomic status and in turn the money that we have. So yeah, just the shame. I don't think we get as many people into the food bank as we should. There's probably a lot more people, a lot more students that could use the help that simply don't ask for it because they don't think that they deserve it. Which speaks to like students being very stoic and wanting to not make use of the food bank so that other people who quote unquote really need it do. But if you're having trouble paying your bills at the end of the month and you're making choices between eating healthy food and keeping a roof over your head or paying your internet bills, like that, you need the food bank.
I have used the food bank. I've gone there maybe 6 times in the last couple years since I knew about it beforehand, but I only really started using it at some point last year. So like for about a year and a half I've used it. I've gone about 6 times.
I actually know a lot about the food bank. I know they get their shipments on Thursdays, and they're open pretty much every day. I do use it, and I just feel like they have good food there.
Oh yeah, I know where the food bank is. Love the food bank. I go there probably like once every other week maybe. You know, it's a really good place to get the staples, get the soy milk, get the bread. You know, sometimes there's the chicken nuggets.
I used it. I knew it was at this White House over by the South Ring Road on Gordon in first year. I think it's moved locations though. I haven't used it in a couple of years because I feel like now that I have a campus job as well, like I feel like to use it if I don't necessarily need it is to kind of take away from the people that do. So I haven't really felt the desperation yet, like to the point where I do need to use it.
Yeah, I've used the food bank before. I do know where it is, and I usually use it for staples, like I'll go and get flour and sugar and things for baking, or I'll use it to get milk and things that are a little more expensive.
Absolutely. I mean, if it's a concern on campus, then it should definitely go there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to put fees towards things that are helping people, whether it necessarily impacts you directly or not, but there are some things that are important because it's something these are people that are directly part of our school community, and I think it's important to support things, especially with something that's as elemental as like a need for food. So.
I definitely think a portion of the school fees should go to the food bank for the reason that as this is an issue that, you know, is happening amongst our peers, the least we could do is put, you know, a couple cents or like less than $1 or something out of our total commitment. That would definitely go a very far way to helping them and other people who needed it.
As long as there's no increment in the fees, they can subsidize part of what we're paying to the food bank. That would make sense.
I do think school fees should go towards the food bank. It's a nice socialist system. Those with lots helping out with a little bit, and that little bit contributed by many people can help a lot to a couple people.
I definitely think every student should contribute to the food bank. It makes a campus better for everyone. Right now, I believe every student pays a couple of dollars towards the food bank. I definitely think it should be increased because there's times where the food bank does run out of food. So I do support the idea of increasing money that's given to the food bank.
Yes, I definitely think that some of the school fees should go towards the food bank because it helps out other students that aren't able to afford food or who might be in need. And then there's also different programs that work towards that as well, like meal exchange and trick or eat. But I think it's important that students help each other out.
Although it would be nice if it came out of the operating budget for the university. I mean, like we get funding from a number of different resources a number of different organizations, corporations, companies off campus, and those funds really should be delegated towards things like the food bank, the bike center, things that are helping students, not just academically.